I want a KO. I want a clear, decisive finish.
The difference is in my head. I evolved a lot as a fighter, my fight IQ. I learned a lot of new tricks and new techniques that I will show. I was, I have to admit, I was afraid, but also very respectful of his skills because he's the only other fighter to have knockout Tuntunin, spitting kick to Tuntunin. So I was very cautious, but too cautious.
That essence comes at play. The one of the biggest. Less than many of the others.
Washington ဖြစ်ပါတယ်
Oh yeah.
We talked about nicknames earlier. Now you hear another great one.
All true.
From Quebec, Canada.
တကြတိလို့ကျွန်တော်လာလုပ်နေဦးမယ်
Martial arts and Leduc Lethwei. This man has traveled. King of Lethwei, Dave
We'll see Dave do physical expression of your intensity. It's a ancient expression.
Well, you talk about
Right now,
ancient
he's
arts,
doing it.
teaches you to break against the limbs. It's one of the most inflicting, damaging martial arts forms there is. So Cyrus Washington has that ability as well.
Yeah, and his spins are incredibly dangerous. Dave will look to get into the clinch by heating up the outside range. He's going to be at his best slicing through these ranges.
And again, as Robin told you, each fight, each round is almost its own fight. As you see combatants going at it, three 5-minute rounds. 5 3-minute rounds, that is, excuse me, with 2 minutes in between, where you can really kind of compose yourself.
So I was watching a lot of what Cyrus has been working on and really putting together tight hand combinations, which will be very smart. There, Dave has been talking about in the clinch, trying to slice him up. Cyrus will kick from the outside, but as he passes through any range, or Dave passes through, Cyrus wants to open up with the hands, straight punches, hooks, and uppercuts.
Both of these, man, you can see the strikes that they throw could put the other one out, and it's just, this is where you see them miss by just a little bit with head movements. Leduc is coming over forward now, that overhand right.
Dave missing is a part of his game. He will miss and flow into the next thing, and the miss is actually a threat. You see it right there. His elbows will come threatening him behind that knee.
Let me ask you, his body art, is that
That is Lethwei? A traditional Lethwei pattern, yes. He's so connected to the Burmese culture, and it is a wonderful culture. The Burmese people are some of the most special people I've ever met in my travels.
I would imagine that's one of the reasons that he's won them over as his fan, because his ability to go in depth to the art. Big left hand there. And a
nice.
He was hit.
Nice, very nice.
There.
Leduc, long, lanky, big kick to the ribs.
Be careful, bro.
There's the headbutt.
Be careful, be careful, bro.
That headbutt creates the separation, and then he fires into the distance. That's the distance created by the headbutt. You'll notice, of course, no gloves, simple wraps.
Just a brutal shot. I mean, big, powerful shots being taken.
Dave again threatened the headbutt now and used your response to open up elbows.
The other thing I see is when you lead with the right leg, coming over with the right hand, you don't see that as much. Usually one, then the combination with the other. You're seeing both from the same side of the body.
Very observant. And there's Cyrus now with exactly what he wants to do. Very observant. He'll use same side attacks a lot. And
spinning back fist just missed, just out of range.
And some of this comes from not just the traditional Lethwei. And Lethwei, the Burmese don't need you to fight, quote, Lethwei. Lethwei is a fixed rule structure. You can fight with whatever skills you have within that structure. So that bit of Chinese martial arts adds to Dave's same side attacks.
Big shots inside. Dave coming over with that elbow, and then a front right up the middle.
Drives it right up.
Boy, both these men throwing some haymakers and some bad intentions, but you also see the control with it. And I wanted to ask you this, Robin, and JR, go ahead and comment about what you saw there and who you felt had the advantage, although there is no scoring.
Yeah, the judges don't play a factor in this. The rounds are not scored, so you have to win by knockout or technical knockout. If it goes all the rounds, then it ends up being a draw. So what I'm going to talk about in between rounds instead is, like you said, the action of what we saw. If I was in Washington's corner, I'd be saying...
Headbutt right here. Bink.
Yep.
I'd be saying, use those hands a little more. That's what we've been working on. The 2 or 3 times that you opened up with your hands, you were able to score nicely. If I'm in the corner of Leduc, I'm saying more of what you did. That was a beautiful round. You fought your fight. You did exactly what you wanted. Let's see more of that. Stay within your flow.
So if you think about this, where Dave is now as the 4th range, where your foot will strike. The 3rd range,
going too far in training, but to be able to train with that headbutt, strengthen those neck muscles.
Yeah, and it's just something other people don't do. You know, and you need to be able to control your head. That's what Cyrus wants to do, and there were moments of it. But the head, if it is a weapon and it is a target, it must be trained, and you must become familiar with it, and you must not be freaked out when it happens. You see some lumps on the side of Cyrus's head, but Cyrus very focused. He's going to initiate here, I believe.
And the other thing is you got to know when to throw that headbutt. That back elbow almost scores, and then Dave coming back with that forward hand. Oh, nice kick to the body, and Leduc coming up the middle with a couple combinations.
Cyrus with a few big punches.
Oh yeah.
Cyrus is not going to just lay down. He's getting into his flow now. This is going to be a hell of a round.
Yeah, Cyrus talking a little bit of smack there, getting back into Dave Leduc's zone.
When Dave threatens with the knee, Cyrus punches. Dave will identify that, and he'll start to use it to draw punches. But you be careful what you wish for. You draw big punches from Cyrus Washington. Cyrus doing a really nice job of covering up there and protecting himself.
Wait, and you got to, because if one of those sneaks through with full power, and Cyrus shot...
Oh no.
So he's having a problem with his vision right now as well. You can see it. And Dave Leduc smells the finishing, coming in with a couple of forward shots. Maybe Cyrus playing a little possum.
Cyrus knows what happens now. He is injured, so a man will attack him. He knows that. And he knows how to attack within the attack.
Oh, big right hand by Leduc, coming over with a shivering forearm. You called it, then it happened.
That switch there, Cyrus threatened the spinning kick and goes to the spinning back. Cyrus isn't going to lie down.
No, Leduc coming over with those thunderous, and he's got the really...
Uppercut again.
Yeah, he's got that angle to come down with that crashing elbow. Leduc's hands wraps have come off and goes back up.
I mean... It'll depend on what the commission decides, and Myanmar you would not see that.
Right.
But this is a commission, and a hell of a good commission.
What would they do in Myanmar?
They would ask you to wrap it, or they'd stop for a moment and tie it around your thumb.
Okay.
Or sometimes you see it'll just continue, and it'll just become part of it.
They want to try to make the correction as quickly as possible, which is what they're doing.
by the referee stopping it or the doctor stopping it or a man not answering when he's been dropped and he's getting the 10 count. And Cyrus was dropped.
Well, and I think when you were talking about his orbital bone, you may be right because he's had, even with the time off that he's had to recover, Cyrus is having a hard time focusing and getting clarity in that eye.
Yeah, Cyrus is going to spin. He's looking to set up a spin right now. And that's a smart move, the threat of it even. But
another big uppercut by Leduc, and then a big right elbow.
Pip rider.
Flowing through it. As Cyrus fires back with a kick, but
no.
Boy, these two are just going at it. And Cyrus, when he kicks, he's got full extension and full violence on that kick.
Dave kick into the spin, and now elbow, headbutt. And punches. It just comes at you from so many different angles, so many different rhythms, different timing, different weapons, different ranges. He just keeps pouring it on you.
And what I keep remembering that you said, Leduc looks pointy. He's pointy.
Doesn't he?
He's sharp. He certainly does. And when you look at it, that warning came in 20 seconds before the end of the round. A bit of a difference from American martial arts.
Sir.
ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ရဲ့ page လေးကို follow မလုပ်ရသေးရင် follower တွေလုပ်ပေးခဲ့ကြပါဦးမ share ရသေးရင်လည်း share ပေးခဲ့ကြပါဦး
Oh yeah, you guys know it. But 2 minutes will help.
So the big difference that I'm seeing between the two, Washington is trying to plan and set an attack and being very almost methodical with it, whereas Leduc, a perpetual motion machine. Every single thing flows into something else, be it his footwork, be it his body movement, be it a headbutt leading to the elbows, elbows leading to the headbutts. So Leduc really handling business here just by virtue of the fact that he does not stop moving in with the weapon.
Yeah, but it all makes sense. It's a language, you know, it's a vocabulary.
It's a symphony. It's kind of a music you're putting down.
Let's see this punch here. I think they'll show the punch that dropped him.
Yeah, they showed it a minute ago when we were talking, when Jared was talking, but he comes up with after the uppercut, it's the overhand right that he follows with that has been showing the damage in this fight.
There, see, even a tiny thread of the head allowed that front kick. Then the punches, elbow to the body or to the arm, but it all flows out of it. If you think of it as a vocabulary or a language, they're flowing into the other one. Each word makes a sentence. Each sentence makes a phrase. Each phrase creates a story. And that Dave is telling a story here. Cyrus is still in this fight, but Dave is peak Dave Leduc right now.
And when you're looking at it, you're looking at the story. You just saw the second chapter. What's in store for the third one? Because a lot happened in that round. You were able to see Leduc come with the uppercuts and then the overhand rights and then the threat of the head. Washington was... And both combatants to the center of the cage.
It's in these first few seconds.
Ooh, big overhand right. Leduc just rushing, hit him again over that eye.
Over there.
And Washington trying to conjure the ability to get back up.
And he's doing it. He's doing it. This is we use the term warrior real loosely. We've overused it, but that's what he is. This man was born in a different era. He'd be on horseback leading his army into battle. That's Cyrus Washington. So you're going to have to separate him from his consciousness to win this by TKO.
Leduc kind of smells the blood in the water right now and coming to impose his will, and you see the reach that he has and then the ability to get away from the strikes that Cyrus Washington is throwing.
If I'm Cyrus, I'm throwing now. Right now. So watch this, right? Now we need to strike. Initiate. It's just very difficult to do. Dave has trained him to your brain runs algorithms. It's trying algorithm is if this then that. Well, his algorithm is overwhelmed here because if this then this.
Going with that headbutt right there as well. And when you look at, you know what's amazing about these two fighters, you see maybe perhaps more looking at Cyrus Washington, but you see how Dave uses his body for the attack. He uses it perfectly.
He's weaponized his entire body. That's what he's done. And the reason his body looks different is because every moment that could be applied, and Cyrus might spin here. Cyrus might spin. Every moment that could be applied to improving yourself as a martial artist. Look at the big uppercut on the head. Look at the line down the top of Dave's head. That's from impact.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing. You touched upon it, and we don't talk about it enough here because we take it for granted. But there's a reason when the Broncos play, they say you're a mile above sea level because it is real.
Yeah, it really is, but it's affecting both of them. And whatever affects one, as long as it affects both. Dave will strike with the head here. And again.
Raising right hand, then the uppercut.
Right hand,
this is like
right
an
hand.
all-out fist fight brawl.
He is an artist. He is an artist. He's painting a picture and he's telling a story.
And it's a violent canvas as he continues to strike with those elbows. And you see them landing. The fact that Cyrus Washington is still upright is amazing.
It really is. But that's who he is. That's who he's always been. This is what his life has come to this moment. Everything in his life is built to this moment. But Dave is overcoming whatever he has, minute by minute, strike by strike.
How about Leduc with his ability to place the kick on the thigh to get him to come back, and then he can spring forward.
He uses all parts of his body to attack all parts of yours. It's overwhelming.
Oh,
Dewa, nice sweep
be careful, I talk you.
Good for him. Dave shakes it off.
Leduc just kind of knows that his hand wraps are coming off again. That's it. Wow.
What's that? Round 3. You know where our thoughts need to go as well. Of course, we've been marveling at what Dave's doing. This is a wonderful performance. But Washington, this isn't a done deal where it's either a Dave finish or a draw. Washington can knock him out. He's learned information here, and these are the moments right here at this long middle distance. Not quite long distance, not quite short distance. That's where Cyrus is dangerous.
Boy, Dave just missed with, again, that big overhand right elbow. And you'll see those kicks to the midsection and then the front of the thigh, kind of to gauge distance.
Yeah.
But again, Cyrus Washington not out of this yet, still throwing big-time blows.
Dave's weird, and weird is a good word when it comes to combat. Dave's odd and irregular movement actually helps him defensively. You see where he catches punches off strange positions. His head is not moving on trajectories that are familiar. His weapons are not moving on trajectories that are familiar as he flows his way through this story.
He's elbows and chins. I mean, that's how he presents himself to you, and everything you hit is going to hurt.
Yeah, and you mentioned his body. It is very different. He doesn't spend time trying to muscularize his body. He adapts his body to the fight. His body was created through martial arts, not weightlifting or running or whatever other choice we have, and we have many choices of how to build our athletic platform. He's built his entirely through expressing combat.
Now just throwing some big-time shots there. Cyrus Washington's able to weather the storm so far. And Dave backs up and sees the position to attack, and he knows he's got him in trouble. He knows that eye is bad.
He's got to get big on the board. Oh, yeah. That's a brutal cut. The doctor's going to have a look.
Yeah.
You don't see it from that angle. But, man, his face is beaten up.
Oh, yeah.
Dave wants to finish him.
And back at it. And there's that front kick to the thigh again. I mean, just an artwork. There's the headbutt up the middle.
The headbutt. And Cyrus. Dangerous. A wounded animal is a dangerous animal.
There's that kick to the thigh again that he uses ever so slightly to create an opportunity to go in and dive in with those elbows and punches.
Dave flows so. Oh, there's another headbutt. Dave flows so freely. Fatigue is different for him. This is all normal for him. Look at the blood. That's Cyrus's blood on Dave's head.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're right above shots, and Leduc going down and then back up with the uppercut.
This is exactly, I think, what people were expecting Lethwei to look like, and Dave Leduc has not disappointed. This fight is over.
That's it.
This fight is over.
Saw him do that. I was going to refer to you, and when you see this, Cyrus Washington took an enormous amount of punishment, and I believe, like you do, in that second round is where I think he suffered an orbital bone break, but then he exploded over here with the cut, and Leduc, the sharpness of the elbows and the strikes, and he just points to his elbows. Really did the trick, Robin.
Look at his face. That is Cyrus's blood, and he'll go over and talk to Cyrus now. Listen, from this point forward, we're going to talk about power is not something we have. Power is something we create. He's creating it through movement. He's creating it through flow. He's creating it through elastic expression. Relaxed expression of combat. That was one of the great performances I've seen.
He picked apart Cyrus Washington. Cyrus had his moments during the fight, but everything that Leduc did led him to the next.
Dave dictates how and when you come in. But look at some of these shots. And this is, again, a veteran of 100 fights lost here. Not certain of what's coming, and that is no insult to Cyrus Washington. That is a credit to Dave Leduc. What he was able to do here tonight, he's still getting better. He's still finding that flow. And this is when the ref takes one look and decides, you know what? Nope, we're done.
Yeah, Leduc, you see him celebrating. We see, fans don't see this, but we see this. I mean, Cyrus is having a hard time coming out of the cage. His almost buckled as he came out. And you've seen him before. He took an amazing amount of punishment.
Lethwei Championship shirt, and shout out to that wonderful organization.
2 minutes, 40 seconds of the 4th round. Declaring your winner by TKO and the new Sparta Sports Entertainment World Lethwei Champion and still the King of Lethwei, Dave!